All right, I think we will go ahead and get started since we are right at the 11 o'clock hour. We did start broadcasting this a few minutes before our time. So if you did tune in and there was awkward silence, that was intentional. There wasn't any issue with your connectivity. It was because we were waiting on you all to be alerted that we're live. So whether you watch this in the morning, afternoon, or evening, I want to thank you for tuning into our broadcast on this Thursday at 11 a.m. We haven't done a Thursday broadcast in a while, but with the holidays, we wanted to make sure that we still were able to highlight some of our programs and connect with you virtually. So we know that you may watch this later on. Please continue to share this out to your network. If you do end up coming on our page and you've never been to our page before, make sure that you like the page and that you follow us for notifications if you're viewing it here on Facebook, and that you're subscribed if you are on our YouTube channel. Now, most of you know me already. I am Juliet Abdel, our Westminster Chamber CEO, and often we do broadcasts to update you on what's going on in our community, to hear from different experts, or to highlight our newer partners in our business community. And then every now and then, when we have an exciting program that we really want to keep at the forefront or keep in your mind consistently, then we make it a point to try and bring that to you even more frequent than just posting it once or twice. So today's program, as you've already guessed with the title, is to highlight one of our businesses, Made and Created, which is a locally owned business that's here in Westminster. It's a small business, and I'm very excited to have our mayor and the business owner, Nancy McNally, on here with me. Nancy, thank you for spending the morning with us.
Of course. And I hope everybody's bundled up drinking their hot chocolate.
Yes, especially today. I know you were out and graciously helping neighbors and people in your community with your snowblower and snowplow. I've seen so many posts of people saying that theirs don't work. So you are an angel today for so many people out there. If you're on the roads, then I encourage you to be careful. And if you're at home, this is your cue to tune into this. And then right after you tune into this, make your purchase for some of those We Love Westy sweepstake gift cards. So I do want to give a quick update on what that program is. There is a whole separate live broadcast that we held last week for you, explaining how this program works, explaining how you can win over $5,000 in cash if you just support local, or if you just do business with our small businesses that are participating. So we have nearly 24 businesses that are participating in our Shop Local, Dine Local, Do Business Locally program. And the way that it works this year is for you to purchase a gift card that acts like a credit card. It acts like a MasterCard at any of those merchants that are listed on this website. Will accept that card for you. And there are increments of $25, $50, $75, or $100. They're gift cards that you can use, or you can send it to a loved one, send it to a friend, a neighbor, anyone that you feel might benefit from a gift card. Of course, I would welcome that. But the point is that with every purchase that you make with the gift cards, you actually get a ticket into the We Love Westy sweepstakes. And the larger the dollar point that you invest in gift cards, the more tickets that you receive, up to 10 if you're at the $100 gift card level. So that's quite a bit of chances of having an opportunity at winning the $5,000. And what we did this year that was different, that we highlighted in the previous video, and I'll make it a point to include that link into this chat later on. That video explains the breakdown for you, but you have over a dozen chances at winning the $5,000 in cash, which is a lot more than previous years. So we encourage you to continue to purchase gift cards. These will run through all the way until January the 16th. So you have ample time to still invest locally and still come back. I see with us that we have a quick comment that came through from Brian Head, giving a quick good morning note to Mayor McNally and myself. Thank you for tuning in. Brian, this is a feature that's available to all of you. If you have comments, please type them in the chat. If you have questions, let us know what they may be. And they can be questions about our small business owner and the topic that we're highlighting. They can be questions about our city. I know it's been a little while since we've done our city updates on a weekly basis with so many of the transitions. And so we want you to ask any questions that you might have at the local level as well. So if it's not a topic that's out there, our mayor will be able to field those as well to the best of her ability and direct you on where to go past that. But I will go ahead and turn this over to you, Nancy. We've talked about it before, but for those that may be new to our page that have recently signed up with us and maybe are not familiar, who is Made and Created? What do you all offer and what do you do?
Made and Created is 11 years old. I realized that this year because you just keep going and you don't really look back. And somebody said, how long have you been doing this? And 11 years. So I'm going on 12 next year. And it started when I worked downtown. The people, I would bring different things in and I would be looked at every day and they would say, why don't you just start your own business? Mm-hmm. So I did. And during that time, I do a lot of machine embroidery and people, don't really know what that means. So let me show you some fun things. For Christmas this year, I sold sets of snowballs. They all have different faces and I would sell them in sets of 4. They're just squishy. We even had some dog owners that asked me to put squeakers in. They brought me squeakers. We sewed it up and they've shown me videos of their pups having fun with the snowballs. So anything can turn into anything. For wine bottles, have little aprons that you can put anything you want on. I just have a couple. This is I have them in black and white, but a little chef hat sits on top of the wine bottle. I also have scarves, but you can put anything you want. So you don't see a lot of my stuff, even at shows. I might bring 2 or 3, but I tell everybody, if you want something special, that's what I'm about. I want to do what you want. I don't want to do 1,000 things and maybe you'll like them, maybe you don't. I don't have storage, so I make them as people want them. I have, sometimes I make little things like this. This is just a little stand that sits at your desk and has the Post-it notes and a pen in it and can make any kind of fabric. This one's patriotic. I've done a ton of mug rugs. These are just fun things that can have sayings, can have snowmen, can have penguins, can have sayings of thank you, whatever. Those are fun gifts for teachers. I do, if you babies are happening all the time and showers and birthing gifts. So I have plain onesies, all colors. You can, again, put whatever design you want. I have plenty of them to share that are just nice for little ones. I made this for my granddaughter. I asked her if I could keep it.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's just a little Christmas ornament with her name there on the end. She skates over at the ice rink next door. And then this year I made a bunch of bowl cozies. So when you're putting your bowl in here and putting your soup in here, your hands don't get hot and it's just nice. Then I call it my zoo. On my website, Made and Created, you'll see a ton. I think I've got, I don't know how many animals, but this is a new guy. He's a little moose and I can do 4-inch embroidery on his tummy. The great thing in these animals, their little behind here unzips. You can take everything out. He's totally washable. So lots of drool, throw up, peas, whatever, you can wash them. And then I have a special today. I asked if it was okay. I
Yeah.
made this for an Avery, but this one isn't perfect. So I will not sell it. But if anybody has an Avery, I'm sure that uh, Avery would love this little panda with its little blemishes and love it. You just have to email me or put it on Facebook on Made and Created. And the first one that wants to claim the panda, it's yours. I have a new little dude. He's cute. I have a blue one of these, but this is a new little penguin they put out. I just think he's cute too. So I love him. Some things that people don't know that I do these rugs,
Oh.
and I'm going to put them on my website. I haven't done that before because I usually just do them I'm at the art cottage over by our gallery, and that's where I usually take them to sell them. But this year, after I get everything from there, I will put these things on sale, and they will just be one. It will be whatever you see is what's for sale. And again, for babies, I have like the big bath towels, and right up here at the hood where their head goes, we can put a name, an animal, a saying, whatever you want. But again, I'd rather have you tell me what you want on there. I have the blanks. I need you to tell me what you want. So those things are going up new on my website. I haven't done it before. We're going to try it so that people just see they can add their own special touch as a grandma, as a mom, as a whomever. You can make things special. I should have grabbed a Gibbs dog collar. I do dog collars that clip on to or snap on to their harnesses or their collars. And again, Gibbs says, I love to walk, but I love to give you kisses more. So
Oh.
he does that with everybody. And so I do that. Those aren't on my website either. So during this downtime is usually when I decide what I'm going to put up. And this year I'm going to be bold, and everything I've shown you, plus probably some other stuff I'm going to put on there. So you do know what all I do, because I try to tell people, but people tell me we need to see it. So I will put up a sample, like this scarf for a wine bottle. I will tell what it's for, but I will say you can have whatever you want on the scarf because I have blank ones. And if you happen to like this Chardonnay one, I will sell it, but it's just we want it to be yours. The other part of my business, when the Cottage Food Act was passed about 10 years ago, I could sell my dad's brittle. I had just been giving it away as gifts and stuff. During that time, the police officers would always get it, and they call me the crack lady for that. But uh, I was able to start the business with that part. And that really was mid November to December. That's no longer peanut brittle. I get requests for anniversaries, people that can't wait. It's been 6 months since Christmas. I need some brittle now. Birthdays, anniversaries, or it's just because I need some peanut brittle. And this year, in January, I'm going to be featuring a new nut. I do right now almond, cashew, peanut, and walnut. And people kept asking and asking, have you ever tried pecan? Finally, the last group to ask me was my knit and crochet group that I do on Sundays. And I said, no, but I have to order some peanuts anyway. I'm out. And we still had 2 weeks of Christmas before Christmas, and I knew I needed more nuts. So when I ordered those, they had some pieces of pecans, which is good because when you use a whole nut, it doesn't get as much flavor, and you don't get a nut in every bite. And people like to have nuts in every bite. So I use the slivered almonds, so you get a bite of almond and everything. Walnuts are chopped up, and cashews, I use the pieces also. So the pecan pieces came. I made some batches, and then I started handing out testings. And so far, I haven't I've even had people that don't like pecans but try it, and they say it tastes like pralines,
Mhm.
and they love it. And then some will say it's great, but I still like the peanut. And my own children hate it that I do other nuts because they say, but it was grandpa's peanuts. And I said, I didn't change a recipe. Grandpa just didn't think of using different nuts. It's the same recipe for all. It's the nut I change.
Mhm.
And with that nut change, like with the almond, it turns the recipe that makes the brittle part into, when you open it up and crack it open, it looks like a honeycomb web. It's just fine little layers. And it has to be the oils in the nuts because it's different with each nut, how light it
Oh.
is. The almonds light, the cashews pretty light, but it the almond, people tell me, just melt in your mouth. There's nothing to stick to anything. It just melts. So it, that's how it all has started, and we are going to launch pecan brittle in time for Valentine's Day. And I do have a heart-shaped heart that I do make the brittle. So if you want to use and get into this sweepstakes, get a $25 um, gift
Yeah.
card, and the heart brittle is $22 and plus tax, so the 25 will cover it, and you can be in the sweepstakes, and then around the 14th of February pick up your brittle.
That was some really great information. I've done my best to type up everything that you do in text, but as you were sharing, Nancy, it is so different when people can visually see what you do rather than just reading on your site. And I am consistently blown away every time, but everything that you can customize. You don't think about it until you start seeing it. And I cracked up when you were talking about your dog collar and your sweet dog, because I was thinking of my hateful one. And and I was like, maybe I need to order one that says I bite the hand that feeds me or something. And just warn people that way that, he's
Beware.
right. Yeah.
You can have little double horns.
Right. Looks can be deceiving. Absolutely. That was funny. And I likely follow through on that. But it looks like we also have a few other people that hopped in. Ellen, I see you on here as well. I see our Jefferson County Commissioner Tracy Kraft Tharp. Thank you for joining us, and our current board chairman Brian Dice giving us a quick good morning message our way. For those of you that are on here, we are highlighting Made and Created, a small business here in our community that's local, participating in our We Love Westy sweepstakes, which is a chance at $5,000 in cash. And this campaign runs until January the 16th, which is why Nancy was referencing a great idea. Go ahead and purchase your gift cards now and plan for gift giving even ahead of not only Christmas and the holidays that you might have, and New Year's and birthdays that technically happen even during this time, that overlap these holidays, but even forward planning and thinking of Valentine's Day and some of those other gifts that you can be doing a little bit further into the month of January. Now, if you did not already know this, Nancy mentioned her website a little bit earlier to you all as a good resource to see some of the information that she has available to you. I've included that into the chat so you can, of course, follow up and see some of that. And the super cool giveaway, I do love this. Hopefully we can find an Avery that's out there if you know of one. If you yourself are named Avery, if you've got a loved one or a friend of a friend who's got a child that's named that, or one that's on the way, this is a giveaway item that's available to you. All you have to do is to get the stuffed panda bear with the I Love Avery is to make a post on the Made and Created page to enter to win. So I think that's super cute. Thank you for offering that to all of our viewers today. I thought the rug was super neat. That is a newer item that you're doing. Now, is this something that are you hand weaving it fully, or how is that put together? Because that's pretty detailed.
It comes like this. It's called a jelly roll.
Okay.
And when you open it up, there's 44 pieces,
Yeah.
and you take it out. And a veteran, I use his tool, but it's like a little funnel that's exactly this wide, and it will fold the sides because you have a batting that you have to put in here, so that there's a cotton batting in here, so it's squishy, and you put all these strips, you sew them together, and then you put the 2.5-inch batting and use this little tool that folds it, and then you just fold it over and sew a long, 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 long string, and then you just start in the center
Oh,
with two things here, and then you just use a zigzag stitch, and then you just start going round and round and round until it gets, this is the outer edge. You start in here. This is the first place right here where you start.
yeah. You make it sound so simple. It is
Oh, it
super
is.
beautiful. What's it?
Well,
For
and
those,
as you see, that
yeah.
comes in different colors. This one's more browns. This one's for a daughter up in their home in Breckenridge.
Mhm.
It's more of the forest type things. And this one is more into these colors.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
never know
that's a
how it's going to
pretty
turn out.
pattern. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you never
really
know how it's
don't,
going to turn out.
because as you were sharing, it's where you start and where it actually ends up laying on there is entirely different as you're
Yeah,
undoing that. So it's
yeah,
almost like a mystery.
yeah. I've got one that my knitters thought it looked like the ocean, and it was that color, then it went to sand, and then it went to the shore. So that was in their mind how the colors went. So
Oh, well, the unique piece is probably the most important takeaway out of our broadcast. And that, you can often go into some of our larger department stores, or even you can shop online, you can find things, and they're not one in a million. They're out there, and there's 50 or 60 different versions of the same thing, but your items are very much unique, custom items to the needs of people that are requesting them. And even the same with this rug that you're showing me. I'm a huge fan of looking at those different rugs in stores, and it's just unique patterns that aren't out there. We have a question that came through. Actually, there are two questions that came through from Brian. His fingers look like he's typing up very fast. For those of you that are that are tuned in, you can ask comments, you can ask off the wall questions, or you can ask more serious questions, of course, about our business owner that's featured, or even about the city and what's going on in it as well, since Nancy McNally is our mayor as well for the city of Westminster. So make sure you're typing any of those questions. We'll pick them up right now throughout the broadcast, the last few minutes that we have. That being said, we touched on brittle, and I love your brittle. I know I believe I tried your almond brittle and I used it to weasel my way out of a really hard workout that evening when I went and met up my coach. So it worked. I gifted some of it, and it works wonders. And it is one of those things that when you mentioned some of your family members that are saying that you're changing the nuts, it one of those things when you're baking, when you are making those changes, it's hard to retain the integrity and the consistency of that treat or that good. So I love that you can offer so many varieties and it still just is great. This led up to this question that came through, this first question from Brian. And Brian's question was asking which one of your your council colleagues goes through the most brittle. His guess or his bet is on Councillor Seymour.
well, there's no one on council that says no, I don't want that. Number one. A couple of weeks before I gave council their Christmas gifts, which was a round of brittle, because I pour it out in pizza pans. So it doesn't always pour out exactly to the 12-inch. It depends on the humidity. It depends on so many different factors how something pours out when you're into candy making and doing it from home with less controlled items. But anyway, we have a council member that calls it the devil's candy.
Oh.
And because he's always on trying to watch weight and stuff, and so he just says that's just the devil's candy. And when I give it to him, he goes, well, it is Christmas. But I would have to say, if I brought one every week, Councillor Guzzotti would be the one that would eat everybody's. I'm not sure he took his home and shared it. It could have been home eaten between leaving a meeting and getting home, it could have been gone. So I'm not sure that his family knows they got a round of brittle this Christmas.
Well, now they do. The cat's out of the bag. There was brittle that was supposed to be for them. If they did not get it, then they know who the culprit is. It's too funny.
He's very rambunctious when it comes to the brittle. And in mid-year, he'll go, "Isn't there a reason for brittle?"
Right? There's always a reason for brittle.
I always remind him he can order it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to wait until the gift portion. Get it anytime. Oh, this question comes to us still from Brian, and I do see a couple more people that are tuned in. Thank you for hopping on with us on our broadcast. Brian's asking on a more serious note, and that is regarding the police chief for the city of Westminster, how that search is going, if there's a new timetable that's out there for that hiring yet.
Yes, we are in the midst of taking resumes right now. We knew during Christmas it might, people aren't thinking of throwing in resumes. So we're taking resumes through January 9th is the last day. And the council isn't the one that hires. This is our city manager's hire. And he keeps us abreast of where he's at. And he shared within the first, I believe it was 10 days, that we had 8 people, 2 from in-state and 6 from out of state that had already applied. So I don't know what we're up to yet, but probably on January 9th, we'll hear those totals. And I don't know if we have an inside person that's applying. Do not know that. I just know that the process is in place, and anybody that wants to go for that job, now's the time to get your resume in.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Brian. I hope that answers your question. I know it answered the timeline one as it relates to January 9th and the process behind the selection. So we appreciate that question. And for any of you that are tuned in, thank you, of course, for viewing our broadcast. I just want to do a quick recap. We Love Westy Sweepstakes is our third of our Shop Local season programs that we launched this year. The lookbook was one that we had displayed as a way for you to know where to shop or what to provide as gifts for your loved ones. Then we moved into Small Business Saturday, and this is our final, which is basically the sweepstakes chance at $5,000 in cash. The way that you can win the $5,000 in cash is by purchasing a gift card. The gift card acts like a credit card at any of the participating businesses. You can find a list of the participating businesses at this link. You can purchase the gift card at this link. Once you do so, then you get the ticket via email, and you hold on to that ticket until January the 16th to see if you've won any of the dozen chances at the $5,000 in cash. Of course, support our businesses that are supporting this program, and we want to thank our supporting sponsors, Made and Created, World Juice Bar, and 2020 iVenue, and of course, our overall program partner for the We Love Westy Sweepstakes is the City of Westminster. So that being said, a quick recap. Here is the link to Nancy's website, madeandcreated.com, where you can learn more about her business and shop with her online. The giveaway, which she is quickly giving me as a thank you so much for that. I was like, I'm looking for it over here. The giveaway item, do not forget that there is a stuffed panda that reads, "I love Avery." It's embroidered on that panda. It's available as a giveaway item. Make sure that if you know of someone, if you have a loved one, or if you find someone on Facebook that's with this name, let them know that they might have a chance at this if they just simply comment and post on Made and Created's page to enter for this item. All of Made and Creative's items are customizable. We've talked about Valentine's Day gifts. We've talked about brittle. We've talked about rugs and 2023 new inventory that's out there. We've even talked about where can you find them in person if you're not just a virtual order person. And you can go out there to the Art Cottage where some of those items are for display as well, in person outside of just virtually. Have I left anything off?
Nope. Art Cottage, I think we finished probably Saturday there. So we'll be picking up our stuff, but you can always, on my website is my phone number. So always call. I have Facebook. I usually, if I'm working on something, will show. There were lots of socks that needed done, and we put names on. Even we had, this is the funny one, we had somebody that had somebody coming in family wise, didn't have a sock for them, but a precious dog had passed away that did have a sock. So is there a way I could put a new name over the dog's name? And we made it happen so that that family member had a sock.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for always sharing the personal stories around this. I know these gifts are more personal. They're designed to be more customizable for a particular person, and that's what makes them so unique and such a great way that you can show a loved one or a friend that love for them through these gifts. So appreciate you wrapping that. If there's not anything else, believe it or not, we are even over the 30 minutes that we had, including the additional time that we did at the start. I do want to thank you, Nancy, for supporting this program, for supporting all of the Shop Small programs this year. You've been an active participant in the lookbook and the small business Saturday weekends that we held, and even the sweepstakes. And you came out to the Taste of Westminster, where a number of people this year, by far, I don't know if I've told you this, but this year by far, everyone came out from the Taste and were like, all these vendors were really great. And so I do want to thank you for taking part in that program, because you made it such a
That
great.
was a fun day.
Yeah. It was, yeah. So we'll have to generate some more in your category and see if we can't have our dessert type of award that we give out into the future. With that being said, if we're not back on here together, Nancy, then I want to wish you a happy new year. And I can't wait to come back on and retain our existing city updates into the 2023 year.
Well, happy new year to you. And Made and Created has a Facebook. I'd love for you to go and like it. And that's a great place to put it, the first person that knows in Avery, so I can connect with you, and we can, maybe not today with the weather, but we'll get this so that they have a little new to play twice. So
I love that. Thank you.
Be safe, everyone.
Bye-bye.